Hi, folks. It's another iteration of the Toy Room Tour here. We are on part 5, and today is Batman Day. I'm going to be showing you all of the toys in my Batman collection on my Batman shelf. I know this video is a little bit grainy, but it's about to get a lot better because I'm actually about to show you pictures of the collection, and those are much clearer. So I'll just sort of load the pictures up here and we'll get it going. All right. So this is sort of the overview of the Batman collection. And you can see, there's lots of like posters on the walls. There's a lot of things that aren't necessarily action figures, but that I did want to show you. Namely, you have that all sort of the Batman posters. And then you have, the Batman action figure collection proper. You also have like a Batarang replica, a Court of Owls mask, Batmobile parking only sign, etc., etc. But yeah, let's get into the actual collection. So this is the main Batman shelf. You can see sort of the Batman along that like lower level there, and then to the right and left with some Joker collections, and then you can't see it very well, but some DKR action figures. But let's move in a little bit more closely. So specifically, we have the Mattel DC Universe Classics first appearance Batman on the far left there. And he's a pretty good figure. His face is iffy, but the art from the early golden age when Batman had that strange mask was also not the best art, so it's very excusable. The rest of the figure looks very, very nice, very classic. And then in the middle there, you have the Super Friends Batman, again from Mattel, DC Multiverse this time. And I really do like that Batman a lot. It's a very, very classic. The cape is very superpowers, with the cape that sort of is removable and attaches around his collar there. It's a very nice Batman, and the color of blue is a little bit deeper than the one that's on the standard Batman from DC Universe Classics. And then you have the Batman the Batman on the far left and far right, and he is a DC Direct Batman. That was from the Hugo Strange Batman Secret Files figure, and basically Hugo Strange came with both the Batman head and a Hugo Strange head. I lost the Hugo Strange head, and so now I'm just using it as Batman. It's a very cool Batman body. He's seen a little wear and tear, but I really do like him, and he reminded me a lot of the Killing Joke Batman, so I gave him a laughing fish, which came with, I'm trying to remember, one of the McFarlane Toys Joker figures, and a very appealing figure. The face sculpt is a little weird. I don't love the head sculpt, but other than that, he's a really, really nice figure. The cape is wonderfully flowing. I actually kind of wish I had not lost the Hugo Strange head. Again, this is when I was like much younger, so I didn't really keep track of accessories as well. And to me, when I was a young kid, Batman's much cooler than Hugo Strange, right? But I wish I'd kept it because he's one of the few Hugo Strange figures ever made. And if I'd kept it, I would have a Hugo Strange figure. But as it is, I don't. And then moving on here, we have some more Batman figures. So the one on the left is the another Mattel DC Universe Classics Batman. But he came in a 5-pack with Lex Luthor, Superman, Catwoman, and one other figure I don't remember. But anyway, it was like the Gotham City 5-pack, and basically it's a repaint of the DC Universe Classics Batman where he's all black. Well, it's not all black, but he's black and gray instead of blue and gray, and he looks pretty nice. Nothing special, but he looks pretty nice. You can actually get a better view of that, like Killing Joke Batman. His ears are very long, and then in the middle is one of the best Batman figures ever made, in my opinion. Is the Darwin Cook Batman, but this Darwin Cook Batman is not the standard one, but it's instead like the Batman Ego version. Basically Batman's sort of golden age suit, if you will. And he's just very visually striking. I really love that figure, a DC Direct figure as well. And he does a great job of representing the Darwin Cook Batman. And then you have on the left there, on the right, you have the Mattel DC multiverse Batman Dick Grayson. And he's okay, not great. He came with an alternate Dick Grayson head that, basically an unmasked head. He's pretty good. I really enjoyed like the late 2000s run where Dick Grayson Batman and Damian Wayne Robin were working together. Some really great comics by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, which I highly recommend. But yeah, and then in the back there you see Hellbat. You see Hellbat from McFarlane Toys, and he's a really nice figure. Not totally accurate to the source material, but pretty good. Very bulky, big figure, and the wings make him a little unstable. But he's a very striking, cool figure. And then those are just some cheapies that I forget where I got them, but anyway, I had them as a kid, and the two on the left there. One is a Batman Brave and the Bold variant, and the other is like a Batman Unlimited variant. And, not much to say about those because they're very mediocre. The one next to them, he's just sort of Batman I scrapped together from parts I didn't really need. So he has the McFarlane Toys Detective Comics number 1000 head and cape, and then he has the DC Direct or DC Collectibles New 52 Jim Lee Batman's body, pretty much everything else. And he looks okay. The blue and the problem is that the cape and cowl are are blue, and the rest of the symbol, the gloves, the belt, the boots are all black. And so there's a bit of a clash there, but he doesn't look terrible. And then the next one is the Mattel Total Heroes New 52 Batman, and he's pretty good. He came with some really nice accessories. He came with 2 batarangs, which actually clipped to the back of his belt, and a grapnel gun. And so I'm pretty happy with him. He looks pretty good. And the one next to him was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, like Jim Lee sketch Batman from DC Collectibles. He's a really cool Batman because it has like all the shading from Jim Lee's pencils. It's basically like one of Jim Lee's black and white Batman sketches, but as an action figure, and it's really cool looking. The DC Collectibles Jim Lee Batman was cool in the first place, and then when you sort of stripped it down to just like the sketch, it's really cool. And I think maybe there are only 1,000 of him made, so I don't want to say super rare, but somewhat rare. And then the one next to him, that's a custom, so it's a combination of the head is from the McFarlane Toys Dark Knight's Death Metal Batman. The cape is from the DC Collectibles New 52 Jim Lee Batman, and then the rest is from the Detective number 1000 McFarlane Toys Batman. And I actually like this custom a lot. You can go back and watch my fixing the Detective Comics number 1000 Batman video on YouTube, which you can watch that for your viewing pleasure. But since that video, I have actually customized this figure more, so put on that new head. And the only problem with this figure is that the cape doesn't quite fit the body, so the cape could be a bit longer, and then it would be better. But I don't mind it as it is. I think he looks pretty cool. You get a different angle of him there, and then you have the Primal Age that I think DC Direct. No, sorry, Funko Primal Age Batman action figure. Which is sort of like it sort of put all the DC heroes in like the age of the caveman with dinosaurs, and it was a comic that was like mostly for kids, but and the toy line was actually for kids too, mostly, but they made some cool figures. I think they put out a lot of the main DC characters, and Batman was one of them, and he looks pretty nice. I like him a lot. Not much to him. He's very like blocky, chunky. There's not a whole lot of articulation, but he looks pretty nice, especially with that shield. Batman White Knight Batman back there from McFarlane Toys. That's a really nice figure. He's a little hard to stand up, but he's a very, very great figure. Very loyal to the comic book art by Sean Murphy. He just looks fantastic and has some really nice articulation too. And then the one next to him is, I really like that figure as well. Really nice. The Batman from McFarlane Toys from the movie that just came out with Robert Pattinson. A funny thing about that figure is that there were 2 versions of the Batman from the movie that just came out. One was the one with the mask, and one was the one without the mask. And I, of course, wanted to get the one with the mask because he looks much cooler, and that's like Batman. Like, you don't have Batman without the mask. But my version, the one that I got in a box, and I got it like in a box. It was mint on card. Had not been opened. There was still the tape on and all that stuff. But cape was wrong. The cape was the cape that was clearly intended to be on the unmasked Batman because it had the cowl that hung behind him, and I had but I had the head with the cowl on it, as you can plainly see here. So I had to cut the cowl off of this figure that was originally on the cape, and I don't know, I could have left it on there, but I thought it looked weird to have a cowl and then him wearing the cowl, and so I cut it off, and I don't know, it doesn't look great. It's I just used an X-Acto knife, and it certainly doesn't look perfect by any means, but it doesn't look bad, and you can't notice unless you actually look at the back. And then right above that line of figures, that sort of strand of figures, is my Dark Knight Frank Miller collection, Dark Knight Returns collection. The Batman there is from McFarlane Toys, just an excellent figure. I really enjoy that figure. Very, very loyal again to the comic art of Frank Miller. He's dark, he's gritty, he's angry, and pretty much everything you would expect a McFarlane Toys figure to be. And then that Flash is a DC Universe DC Multiverse, Mattel DC Multiverse Flash from Mattel. And he's again from the Dark Knight series. He's from Dark Knight Strikes Again, which Dark Knight Strikes Again, in my opinion, is one of the worst graphic novels ever written. But it did give us a look at some of the other characters from the Dark Knight universe that we did not see in the first volume. And that Flash figure also came with the Atom, Ray Palmer, in his weird other suit. I actually kind of like this look for the Flash. I mean, it's obviously not his standard look and would not want it to be, but it mixes it up a bit. He looks like more like a jogger than any other iteration of the Flash. And then you have the McFarlane Toys Robin there, Carrie Kelly, and she is again very accurate to the source material, maybe a little bit big, but she comes with her signature slingshot, and she looks very crisp and clean and nice. And again, I just can't say enough good things about that Batman because he's just so iconic and so accurate to Frank Miller's art. He just looks so striking and bold and muscly. And then that Wonder Woman is from Mattel as well. It's in the DC Multiverse line. Her head sculpt is a little weird, but then again, Frank Miller's rendition of Wonder Woman was a little bit weird. And yeah, I'm happy with this collection. I could collect the Superman as well, but I didn't really care for the Superman from McFarlane Toys. I just thought his head sculpt looked really weird. And anyway, yeah, this is, I think, how my Dark Knight collection is going to stay for now. And then we have my Joker collection. It's a small one, but I don't collect Joker figures just to collect Joker figures. I mostly collect one Joker figure from every line, except for McFarlane Toys' line. I collected all three Jokers, since that was sort of the idea, was that there were three of them, hence like three Jokers. And so I thought that was very cool that McFarlane Toys did that. So you have those two McFarlane Toys Jokers on the back right. One of them is, I think, the criminal, and the other one is the clown or something like that. And they're both really nice figures. I definitely like the Killing Joke one, which is the one in the way back, better than the other one. A Joker that isn't smiling just isn't really the Joker to me, but I understand what they were trying to do with the Joker that wasn't smiling, which was sort of modeled the Joker's golden age years. So I appreciate that. But I really love the one in the back, because it's just so reminiscent of the Killing Joke. And it's just an all-around great looking figure. And then I actually put the third three Joker figure with my McFarlane 7-inch display. And so the one that I have substituted here is the DC Essentials Joker, which is also a really, really nice Joker. The cane that he came with is a little bit short, but he's a really lovely looking Joker figure. And yeah, I just think he looks super nice, and a great Joker. And then the scuffed up one, the short scuffed up one is from the DC, from Justice League Unlimited line from Mattel. He's pretty good, scuffed up, but pretty good. And then the one on the right there in the front is the Mattel Injustice Joker figure. He's okay. Leaves a little bit to be desired. A little short, but he's not bad. Actually remember for a time when he was the only Joker I had, and so I was like, well, he'll do as a comic book Joker, but I'm glad that now I have more comic book Jokers. And then this is just sort of a random display of Batman related characters. Actually no Batman character or figure up here, but There's a lot of Batman family characters. You can see Catwoman and Robin are fighting over. Actually, maybe I have, no, I don't have clothes. You can see Catwoman and Robin are fighting over in the corner over there. And that's the Mattel DC Universe Classics Catwoman, but it's the one that came in the 5-pack. That same Gotham City 5-pack I was talking about earlier. That is the Mattel Superheroes Robin, but it's like a variant, which is definitely reminiscent of the Robin from Batman and Robin, the terrible George Clooney movie. And then the Batgirl is McFarlane Toys Batgirl. I really do enjoy that figure a lot. One of the only good early McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures out there. The Batarang definitely does not fit in her hand well, but overall, she's a really nice looking figure. And as far as I know, the only Batgirl figure made of Batgirl in that costume. I do like that costume a lot. So, yeah, really great Batgirl. She might be a little bit big, but she's a great Batgirl. And then that's the DC Essentials Red Hood. Excellent, excellent Red Hood figure. Really, really wonderful. Back when toys actually still included guns, and his guns fit really nicely in his hands and in the holsters. Just a spectacular looking figure. His helmet is just so shiny. Probably the best Red Hood figure ever made. That's the DC Essentials Catwoman back there, but the display that you see that she's on came with the DC Superheroes Catwoman, and so did that cat. And then that's the DC Essentials Nightwing, probably the best Nightwing action figure ever made. Really, really love the look of that Nightwing, even though I'm not the hugest fan of the character of Nightwing. I think he just wonderfully represents the Rebirth Nightwing, which is probably my favorite look for Nightwing. And then that's the McFarlane Toys Damian Wayne, and he's a little bit big, but I think he looks pretty nice. And then that's the DC Super Friends, DC Direct, DC Super Friends, or sorry, not DC Direct Super Friends, Robin and Riddler, which came in a 2-pack together with that mini Batmobile. And they look really, really nice, really accurate to the classic cartoon, especially Riddler. He's especially good. But yeah, this day was obviously all about Batman. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back soon for another one, but I did want to just provide another iteration for you, and I hope you enjoy. Have a great day, and see you next time. Thanks. Bye now.